I am Michael West, your guide on yet another journey into the unknown on this show we like to call Surreal Cinema, final resting place of the wildest and weirdest movies ever made. This time around, we continue our classic monsters movie marathon with 1944's The Mummy's Curse, starring Lon Chaney in the title role. A role he despised, by the way, given that he didn't have any dialogue and his face was obscured by layers of gauze. And so, Big Lon got very, very drunk and stumbled through the movie in full blackout mode, indulging in sobriety just long enough to cash his paychecks and buy himself another case of rot gut. Did I mention that he hated playing the mummy? Hated it. You can almost see his contempt for the role, and for himself, in this, the last and least of the Mummy movies. A prime example of milking the formula dry, milking it until it hurts. By the time they made this moldy biscuit, the continuity of the story had gone out the window. The timeline had gone kablooey. The original Mummy, with Boris Karloff, was set in 1932, the year of its release. The first sequel, The Mummy's Hand, from 1940, was set in 1940. 1942's The Mummy's Tomb takes place 30 years following the events of The Mummy's Hand, and The Mummy's Ghost from 1944 takes place shortly thereafter. We learn that this movie is set an additional 25 years after Ghost, meaning that the events take place in 1995. But hey, it looks a lot more like 1945 to me. The script was cobbled together by a bunch of hacks the studio had on retainer. Some old queen was blackmailed into directing it, and Lon was contractually obligated to do it. A bunch of nobodies got paid scale to co-star in it, and a couple of weeks later, The Mummy's Curse was in the can. That said, it's not half bad. Let's all enjoy it right now on Surreal Cinema. Roll it, Clyde. Okay, kids, there you have it. The Mummy's Curse on Surreal Cinema from 1944. That was it for Old Bandage Head until 1955's Abbott and Costello Meet the Mummy and the 1959 Hammer Films remake of The Mummy with my man Christopher Lee putting on the gauze. Of course, in recent years, big money has been made on The Mummy and The Mummy Returns with Brendan Fraser and pro wrestler turned actor Dwayne Johnson, aka The Rock, as the so-called Scorpion King. A wrestler trying to act. Now that's what I call scary. Surreal Cinema is written and produced by the demented J.M. Dobies, directed by Derek Dembeck, the Reanimator, executive producer King Frederick St. John, hosted by me, Michael West. Thanks to the beautiful Miss Tanya Marie at Industrious Communications, everybody at WQXT, all of you maniacs for tuning us in, and my little friends, Liam and Lola. Join us next time for more of the wildest and weirdest movies that time forgot, right here on Surreal Cinema. See you then. Be good. Or be bad, you know. Just like